Around the evening of one day in January, the driver of a Peugeot who was moving on Paran Street in Tehran was curious about something and faced a strange scene that scared him, and told the police about it with stress and the police forces themselves. During the investigation, it is clear that the matter is related to a case that has been ongoing for several days, but no evidence has been found yet. Hello friends, welcome to my channel. You are the viewer and listener of another case from the video series, You Are Us. Today I am at your service with a strange and heartbreaking case from Tehran, the capital of Iran. If you are interested in this type of topics, I will be happy to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell next to it so you don't miss new videos. At around 9 o'clock in the evening of the 5th of December 2018, a man named Majid from Beheshti neighborhood of Karaj went to the police department of Karaj and said that he had been at work since morning, and now that he has returned home there is no trace of his wife. Majid says that he has been married to Maryam for about a year, and he is annoyed because Majid has a long distance from his work environment. Majid says that because of this long distance I had to leave the house early in the morning without having breakfast and stay at work until late at night. I returned home early tonight because we finished work early. Majid says that I knocked on the door several times, but no one opened the door for me. I didn't have a key with me, so I called the neighbor and he opened the door. I contacted Maryam from our neighbor. She told me that she had not heard from her and that she had been out and had just returned home. I was worried and could not wait and said that maybe something had happened to Maryam at home. I suspected that my wife had suffered gassed because we had a history in this case. I quickly went to our house and tried to break the door. When I entered the house, I did not feel anything strange. There was no gas leak in the house and everything was in its place, but there was no sign of Maryam. I was wondering where my wife could have gone. Our house was far away from the houses of our relatives, even our parents, and it was a bit difficult to get around, especially for Maryam, who was a very shy girl. I asked him many times that if I was not at home and you needed something, go and get it yourself. But he never left the house and said that it is better for me to come and get the things I need. Majid says that despite this, I also contacted the families, but they also said that they had no news of Maryam. I was busy since morning and I had not been able to call Maryam, but I called her several times, but she did not answer me. When I entered the house, I called him again and realized that his mobile phone was left at home. I was getting upset when our neighbor said that it is better to tell the story to the police. I also came to the office and now I am here. The agents record Majid's statements and ask him if there has ever been a history of Maryam leaving the house without being informed or not. And does he have a friend who went to him? Majid says that since I got married, I always leave home early in the morning and come home late at night. As far as I can remember, this has never happened to us. On the other hand, Maryam has a few friends, but she is very close to them. It is not possible to stay with them until this time of night. Maryam did not go out at all. I think this is unlikely. The police get the details of Maryam's friends from Majid and go to the place to conduct their field investigations. The agents carefully check the inside of the house and find interesting documents. On the other hand, they also communicate with Majid's neighbors. The downstairs neighbor says that he was not at home at all, and he does not know what happened to Maryam, and that he returned home late at night. The police found out that Majid's downstairs neighbor's story was a lie after checking the CCTV footage. In fact, the myth has tried to hide the issue from the police. But the agents also get documents from inside Majid's house, which show that Maryam did not leave the house, and an unknown person was present there. The police fingerprinting team arrives at the place to make sure of this issue and confirm their investigations that an unknown person was present in that house and his fingerprints were left in some parts. On the other hand, when the police checked the bedroom of this couple, they noticed a lot of clutter. Maryam's ring and her underwear were found under their bed. The police records all these cases, and after conducting their own investigations, they transfer the legend to the police department to explain about his false claims. But Afsaneh insists on her words and says that she did not tell a lie. The police detained Afsaneh in the police station for a few days because they were sure that she had kept something secret from the officers. Finally, after a few days, Fashion opens his mouth to confess and says that he told this lie so that his wife would not find out about it. Legend says that I took money from my husband to go shopping that day. Sometimes I do this, and I didn't want my husband to find out that I was keeping the money from him, so I lied that I was not at home that day and had gone out. These statements were mocking for the agents, but still they did their own investigations, and it turns out that this legend was also a lie, and he was constantly trying to escape from reality. In his statements in response to the officers, Afsaneh's wife says that his wife's statements are lies and that he did not give any money to his wife on the day this happened. The police tried to make his legend confess everything. During their investigation, the agents found signs of Afsaneh's presence and involvement in Maryam's disappearance in Majid's house during their initial investigations, but Afsaneh still insisted on her statements. Until a report changes everything, a person who has been traveling in Tehran's Parand axis has to stop on the side of the road for some reason, and in the meantime, he is faced with a strange scene. Mohammed, the driver of a Peugeot car, sees a big black garbage bag on the side of the road, which looks a little unusual. He goes to that bag, and in the investigation he does, he realizes that there is a body inside the plastic. He immediately calls the police and informs them about the incident. The officers go to the place to investigate the matter. The police investigation team conducts its own preliminary investigations. The body belonged to a woman of about 26 years old, and she was not wearing any clothes. The police, after Muhammad said his own words about this matter, he takes the dead body to the forensic medicine. It is not yet clear who the body belongs to. The coroner will start his own investigations. It is believed by the police that this case is related to Maryam's missing case, so Majid is taken to the forensics to check the identity of the body. Unfortunately, in complete disbelief after seeing the face of the dead body, Majid gets sick and falls on the ground. After a few minutes, when she gets better, she starts crying and says that the body belongs to Maryam. Forensic experts, however, during the examination and various tests, they had confirmed that Maryam was raped and her neck and stomach were severely injured. As seen with the discovery of this body, the investigation becomes more specialized, and the legend is subjected to intensive interrogation. Afsaneh played an important role in this story and tried to keep this story secret. Finally, after a while, Afsaneh tells the facts to the police. Afsaneh says that I hid the story in order not to let my life be destroyed, and I didn't want anyone to know about it. Legend says that it has been a month since I became friends with a boy named Nima, and the reason for my friendship was my husband's indifference. He couldn't meet my needs, and I was really bothered by it. I put up with this issue for a while, but it didn't help until I decided to find a friend for myself. I met Nima through Instagram. He was an attractive and rich boy from the Niavaran neighborhood of Tehran who really wanted to be friends with a woman older than him. So, the legend says that my friendship with Nima started on Instagram. We were very comfortable together until I decided to bring her home when my husband is not home. Nima wants a few days when no one was at home to pick her up. Let him see that he comes to my house. We had a relationship for a while and everything was going so well that I don't know what happened when Nima started making excuses. At first I thought she didn't like me, but later he said that he wants me to have a relationship with Maryam, my upstairs neighbor. After hearing this, I was very upset and told him, "What right did you have to look at Maryam? Such a thing is not possible at all," but it was useless. Nima threatened me that if I don't arrange Maryam for her, she will tell my husband about my relationship and reveal everything. I didn't want this to happen, so I did it. I had already tried 2 or 3 times to catch Maryam alone and tell her the story, but I guessed that she will resist, so I decided to force Nima to Maryam's house and let Nima do whatever she wanted. Unfortunately, I didn't think it would end here. That morning, my husband left home for work. Maryam's husband had also left the house. I coordinated Nima and she stopped at the staircase. Then I knocked on the door of Maryam's house and we entered Maryam's house. We talked to each other inside the house for a few minutes and had a cup of coffee. I got up to leave the house. As soon as I opened the door, Nima entered the house. I held Maryam's mouth, and Nima held her hands and feet together. We took her to her bedroom. Nima saw a ring in Maryam's hand, took it off her hand and threw it under the bed. Then she told Maryam that you no longer have a husband, and from now on, only I am your husband. Nima kicked me out of the room, and then I don't know what happened there. About half an hour later, her noise got louder. I quickly entered the room and saw Maryam lying on the bed and not breathing. I don't know what he had done to Maryam, but she wasn't breathing anymore. I took her pulse and checked her heartbeat. Unfortunately, Maryam was dead. I was left with what to do. Nima said that we will take the body and throw it out. This way no one will understand that we were involved in this incident. We did the same thing. Nima found 2 or 3 big black garbage bags. Maryam's body was naked. We put the body in the bag like that. Then we moved her into the trunk of Nima's car. I don't know what happened and what Nima did with the body. The police recorded Afsaneh's statement and asked her to provide them with Nima's details. Afsaneh also gives the home address, phone number, and license plate number of Nima's car to the officers. It is very interesting that Nima did not hide or run away. Officers arrested Nima while she was leaving her house on Niavaran Street and took her to the police station. When Nima realizes that everything has been revealed and has told the story of the incident to the police, she's forced to confess everything. Nima says that Maryam's beauty made me do such a thing. Otherwise, I would never have done this. Nima says that it has been a while since I used to visit her house at the request of Fashan, and during these visits I accidentally 2 or 3 times. I had seen Maryam. She was really a beautiful girl. I followed the legend, and she said that Maryam has been married for a year. We should not ruin her life because she has a good life. But I did not pay attention to what she said, and I should have slept with Maryam. That's why I threatened the legend that no matter what happened, you should bring me Maryam so that I can sleep with her. He was afraid of ruining his life, so he agreed and took me to Maryam's house. After we entered the room, I tied Maryam to the bed and raped her after I stripped her. Maryam begged me not to do this to me. I don't want anyone to touch me, but my taste was blind and my ears were deaf. I just wanted to do my job at that moment. Maryam was restless, and this made me more nervous. She always mentions her husband's name, and I was so angry that I started bothering her and told her not to mention your husband's name to me. Otherwise, I will bother you until you die right here. But he didn't listen to me, and I didn't stop, and I pressed him so much that he stopped breathing. I pressed his throat hard and put my legs on his legs and pressed him. He was just crying and calling Majid's name because of the pain. I was in this situation when I realized that Maryam wasn't breathing anymore. I called Afsaneh. She shouted at me, and I was left wondering what to do. Finally, we decided to take the body out of the house. Afsaneh cleaned the house and returned to his own house. I also took the body to Paran Tehran, left the bag there with difficulty, and then ran away from there. I did not know that the legend reveals the story. I had done this very carefully, so that I did not even allow the CCTV cameras to record the images. After reconstructing the crime scene, the police take Nima to prison on charges of rape and murder of Maryam, while Afsaneh is on her way to prison on charges of illicit relationship and being an accomplice in this murder until her trial is held. The hearing of this case will also be held. The judge of the case will examine the evidence and documents in the case, Majid and Maryam's family, who were not feeling well at all. They only ask for the maximum punishment. According to the available documents and the forensic report, and since these 2 defendants had nothing to say, the judge sentenced Nima to 10 years in prison on the charge of rape and revenge killing, and Afsaneh on the charge of accessory to murder and illicit relationship, and condemns 99 lashes. Afsaneh's wife is also filing for divorce and is currently going through her own court proceedings. Thank you, and thank you for being with us until this moment. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do it now and support us in our activities with your likes and comments.